Well, that's it. I'm back after a couple of weeks holiday, feeling very refreshed, but a little bit strange getting back on board after 2 weeks. As many of you know, it's the first time I've had 2 weeks off in the 3 years I've been doing YouTube. I've had a week off here and there, but not a full 2 weeks. So I'm a little bit sort of in holiday mode at the moment. But I did have a wonderful time. Thank you very much for all your well wishes. You know how much I appreciate you. I did have a lovely time. It was very relaxing and I got to do some amazing things. So, but back on board, back for readings. If you want to book a reading with me, www.theaussiegoddess.com. I do have availability this week and I know a lot were holding off until I got back. I probably have 1,000,001 things to say, but I'll get back into the swing of things this week. We're going to use the Light Seers Tarot for your reading this morning, and I'm really excited to be back because I do enjoy doing the readings, and even though I know we all need a break from our work, sometimes it's a little hard for me to separate, so it was good to really get away rather than sort of just to, you know, have a couple of days and try to stay away. But anyway, back on board, and I know a lot of you have been waiting. All right, let's see what is happening in the Light Seers Tarot's world. We have the Emperor coming straight out. So the Emperor is a card that represents Aries. You must excuse me too, it's really hot in my office. I came back to a lot of weeds in my garden and a lot of huntsmen in the house. So I'm just getting myself like unoccupied. I even found a silverfish this morning, which I thought was quite bizarre. Everything sort of overtook while I wasn't here. Okay, the Empress. See? Focus, Yvonne, focus. The Empress is coming up first. Now, this is the card of Aries. Now, the Emperor represents many things as a person. Somebody who can be a little bit sort of strong-headed, strong-minded. This is a person that's worked their way to the top. They're experienced. They are very well educated, and they have learned to get themselves to where they need to be. So they command a bit of respect, and the energy around that is similar. Sometimes this can mean that you are stepping into your own power as well. You're starting to understand your own value, how much you have to give. And when you recognize your own power and your own value, you become the person that you were meant to be. So it's sort of like letting go of all the things that you thought you were going to be and really embracing who you are. So the Empress sort of shows us that energy. Sometimes it can represent somebody around you who has those qualities. Sometimes, as I said, it can be you stepping into that power. At other times, it can just be the energies that you know that are around you at the moment. So let's have a look behind that. All right, so I have the Four of Swords. Now, this sort of makes me feel like for some of you here, you've been healing some sort of part of you that perhaps has become a little less than what your value is, a little less than your worth. And I see you healing here. And with the Four of Swords, we see, you know, the energy of really taking time out from the world, really getting back to the tin tacks, getting back to the truth of who you are. And I feel like, you know, for some of you, you may be working through these energies at the moment. And for others of you, I feel like you've already stepped into this energy. Now, I can't help thinking that for some of you too, somebody may have been instrumental in putting you on this healing journey. Whatever it is here, you're definitely going through some sort of healing. Yeah, the High Priestess. See, we have major arcanas coming through here. So the High Priestess tells me that you are starting to understand how to use your intuitive self, or sort of revert to your higher self or higher self rather than relying on what you've been taught. And this sort of energy is when, you know, you may have seen an old pattern, or you may see the signs of an old pattern, or something may come to the surface where you think that is something I used to do, but I feel differently about it now. So you've become very conscious of who you are. And this is what you've obviously been sort of stepping into, this energy, because you're starting to recognize your own patterns. So it might mean you do something, or you say something, or something happens where you stop for a moment and you think, I used to do this way, but I'm not going to do that way anymore. This is the way I'm going to do it going forward, because these are the things I've learned about myself. So there's this energy here of being very conscious of your own thinking and doing, whereas before you may not have been that way. And I feel this is moving you to this energy, this higher self energy, this power that you have lost within this ego self that you have created to survive. But with the High Priestess, I see you seeing the world differently here. Now, we see a conflict in this. So there is definitely a conflict, but I want to say to you, we have the Eight of Pentacles. So some of you are working diligently on this at the moment. And I always say there's, two different types of healing. There's the healing we do when we're not meaning to heal, and there's the healing that we deliberately put forth, like through meditation and working at it, learning, educating ourselves. So when the Five of Wands comes forth, I think that perhaps for some of you, this has been difficult working towards this energy, really understanding how to do things differently, but embracing that, not getting upset or angry with yourself anymore, because you've come to terms with the fact that there are, things about yourself perhaps that, don't suit you anymore, don't fit you anymore. So you're putting them away with the Five of Wands. You're sort of moving away from the conflict of the two selves. I think that's what they're sort of saying. And there is a lot of work to be done with the Eight of Pentacles. And we have the Nine of Swords here. So it is still creating a little bit of anxiety. But we do have this stability coming through with the Hierophant. So what I see here for many of you is that working through the energy of understanding the two sides of yourself, understanding your spirit side or your higher self, but also understanding that there are parts of yourself that are still within you that you've been taught that perhaps you are learning to recognize. And it really is in regard to your own value, your own power. But you're starting to see this from a very different perspective, because now you're doing things and you're more than likely starting to question, I did it this way in the past, but it doesn't feel right to me anymore. It doesn't feel true to who I am in this sort of energy. And now you're understanding how to change that about yourself. I'm trying to think of an example here. So it's maybe that you've always gone along with the flow of things. Maybe you've always sort of slipped into the energy of doing what everybody else wanted to do, or keeping the peace, or avoiding conflict. But now what you're doing is you're saying to yourself, what is the risk of being true to who I am in this situation? And you're questioning what you would have done before as to what you're going to do now. So there's been great changes within the energies here around self-healing, understanding, self-acceptance, but also not being scared to challenge your own way or your own thinking. You're recognizing those patterns now. Maybe you're recognizing your negative thinking or your negative conversations, communication. Maybe you're recognizing, that you put your own needs behind other people. But whatever it is, you're actually sort of standing up to the plate here, and you're saying, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be that person anymore. I want to be the person who is listened to, is heard, is seen. All right, let's get into the reading. Oops, that one wanted to fly out. It'd be interesting to see what that is. All right, I have the Ten of Cups coming through. So for me, this is a beautiful indication that you're moving into a much more calmer and peaceful time. I feel like here I want to say, because of these energies, you're not as worried about the future. So for me, it's like the Ten of Cups is lifting a lot of anxiety for you. It's sort of that Nine of Swords energy is sort of being reversed here. And you're not worried about how things will turn out now, because you're thinking or you're feeling that whatever happens now, you are able to be strong enough to face whatever comes your way. So you're not shying away from things anymore. I feel like you're ready to confront things head on. You're not sort of avoiding them like you would have done before. So the Ten of Cups tells me that the energy is really changing. That Nine of Swords, Ten of Cups energy is sort of changing up against each other. So this is really beautiful energy here. All right, so we have the Five of Cups coming through with the Knight of Wands and the King of Cups. I feel like here you know, especially with this sort of energy coming through, that you're finding passion again. You're finding passion in what you've done. So maybe I'm speaking to many people who've, you know, maybe got trapped in a lot of those old energies and finding it difficult to see forward. And it's like the Ten of Cups is giving you a door to move into the next realm. There's an energy here with the Five of Cups, Knight of Wands, where you're finding your passion and letting go of what you thought was your reality. Because the King of Cups for me sort of makes me feel like you've taken some sort of power over unnecessary emotion, unnecessary worry, unnecessary... Spirit is talking about vigilance. So it's like you've let go of things and you're being really vigilant of how you respond and behave at the moment. And I've talked about this before, because I feel like when you start to change things about yourself, initially you have to be conscious of everything that happens, but once that sort of moves forward, it starts to become natural to you. So it's like driving a car. When you first got your license, you'd have to think about where you were going and how you were getting there. But then after a while, you don't think about that anymore, because the journey becomes a natural progression. And this is the way it's feeling with this King of Cups. This level of self-love, this level of, you know, understanding the difference between self-love and your emotions, understanding how your emotions can control your behaviors. It's like you're starting to understand that imbalance here. All right, so we have death and rebirth, quite rightly so. All right, with the Chariot and the World. A lot of major arcanas coming through here as well. So I feel like it is a really important time for some of you, because you are closing out an old cycle or an old pattern here. There is definitely with the Chariot the energy of being able to focus everything in one direction, like being able to move everything in one direction rather than feeling scattered. And that looks as though it's come from a point of rebirthing that old version, that new version of yourself through the old version. So it's not like you're letting go of an old person or an old version of yourself. It's not like that at all. It's like you are learning to bring this new version of yourself in line with the old version, and being able to move forward knowing that both of them have their place, but also understanding your own personal power here. And we see that through that death and rebirth there. I feel like for some of you, someone could have been instrumental in helping you on this journey. I feel that I felt that up front. So it could be that you have gone on some sort of healing journey, quite possibly. It feels more like the Cancer energy, and we do have a lot of Cancer and Scorpio energy in this. So it feels like a lot of that deeper change. But for some of you, it does feel like somebody may have led you through this. Very much a motherly feel here. So maybe, you know, feeling more in touch with your feminine side here. All right, so we have the Eight of Wands with the Two of Wands. There is definitely the feeling with the Eight of Wands on the Chariot that things are moving quite quickly, and it's sort of it's the energy where you may have had a lot of stop-starts with this Five of Cups, Knight of Wands energy. Like that has the feeling of going back, feeling comfortable, moving forward, going back, feeling comfortable, moving forward, like that sort of energy. And then I see the Chariot with the Eight of Wands, and I feel like whatever you're discovering about yourself, you're really starting to embrace, and you're really starting to move forward with a lot more passion now. So you're leaving behind the things that really don't serve you, but you're not stuck on those things anymore. Maybe you were trying to understand why you did things a certain way. Maybe you were trying to dig deep into that, but that's not necessary anymore. It's sort of like you're now accepting these changes and moving forward in a very different way. Okay, we have the Star at the end. This is beautiful. So for some of you here, it feels to me like you are starting to really align yourself with your own destiny. I feel like here great change is coming here with this Chariot and the Eight of Wands as a result of what's going on here. So it's very beautiful energy. I have you really stepping into your power. I see you healing here. I see you embracing your higher self. And even though there's been conflict around that, you're working through these energies, allowing the anxiety to go and embracing the stability here. And we have the Six of Wands after that. So that definitely shows victory. And with the Star card, I feel the same too. If for some of you, this energy is holding you back from achieving something that you are trying to achieve, you are on your way, even though this stop-start energy may be what you're going through at the moment. You are moving towards this more incorporated version of yourself, this more solid, stable version of yourself here. It is coming. Whatever you're working towards is coming. It is happening, but you may still be in this stop-start energy at the moment, questioning it. And you question, you think, you know, I've done this and I've done that. Why am I still going through this? And when you learn to let go of what was and embrace what's possible, that will move you into this star energy here. Okay, so the Ten of Swords is a thing of the past here, because you have the Ace of Cups coming through with the Seven of Cups. Seeing through the illusion here. The Justice card is here as well. So you're seeing through some sort of illusion and you're letting go of the anxiety of the past. This is self-love in its purity here. So you're starting to understand the concept of self-love now. So I feel like here with this Seven of Cups and this Justice card, this to me looks definitely like shedding an old illusion, shedding things of the past, but no longer becoming embroiled or entrenched in these old versions of yourself or questioning how you feel different. It's like it's becoming natural and you're moving past this stop-start energy now. So really beautiful energy, but definitely leading to this level of self-love. And for some of you, this may be with the Star, finding the love that you are looking for now. All right, let's have a look at the Shaman's Dream for your oracle. Oh, and that's the one that wants to come out. Herald of Change. Oh, how beautiful is that? The Horseman. And that's card 30. Good news, caution, herald of change. When the horseman appears, he is inviting you to spread the good news. Everybody already knows the bad news. Your task is to point out the beautiful when others only see the ugly. Note the possible, no matter how implausible it may seem. This does not mean becoming giddy or blindly optimistic, but rather reminding yourself that every storm cloud has a silver lining. Become a herald of the positive. Put away the fatalistic attitude, the dire predictions, the dreadful expectations about the world or about your life. Declare the arrival of a new and better you. Proclaim that you have risen from the realms of the dead, woken from a long and dreadful slumber, and are back on the world stage. The show is on again. I feel like here that it is about you really understanding your journey now. Really embracing the changes, but embracing the changes in a very positive way. Maybe with this stop-start energy, you were questioning where you should be going rather than trusting. And that's why I said, I feel like you're not looking back so much anymore. You're really starting to look forward. Beautiful reading. Thank you.